Hey guys, it is the 6th of January 2026, and gonna do a quick market recap and the stocks that I'm watching for tomorrow. So, SPY made a new all-time high today, which is pretty bullish, obviously. Nasdaq has been inside this big on the daily chart. We've been making higher lows since the October pullback. Today broke this kind of 623, which had kind of a top for the last week or so. On the daily chart, I think if we can break above 625 area, which is the last high on the daily, they should kind of lay breakout of this wedge pattern to the upside. Because SPY has already broken out, you kind of assume that the Nasdaq will follow. Dow Jones is also at an all-time high, and the IWM has been also rallying. So basically all indices are kind of looking pretty good at the moment. As for individual sectors, the semiconductors continue to go up. The only thing is that the old previous popular semiconductor stocks like AMD and Nvidia and AVGO, they've kind of been not participating. Whereas you've seen stuff like KLAC and AMAT, LRCX, these have had pretty big moves. Also Microchip today, which had some news STRs of increasing guidance, and which took this one for a breakout today. The other strong sector, which is fairly obvious, is the space stocks. You can see the ARC-X ETF has pretty much made a new high, and my watch list has been filled with kind of these stocks. I've been long this Rocket Lab since we undercut the 70 level and broke out today, added to my position. I think this is probably one of the strongest space stocks. The relative strength line is pretty much making new highs. STS, this one has been having kind of whack and rally behavior. It seems to be one that you're better off buying like a downtrend break. There hasn't really been a great spot to buy in this recent leg up, but definitely it remains on watch. Redwire has been another strong space stock. Dealt the highest volume ever in December for the stock, and the volume has been sustaining. I think we're trading just around the 200 moving average. I've been long this since mid-8s. It's had 3 big days up, so one of these days it could probably have a bit of a pullback. The aerospace and defense sector, which is kind of similar to space, is also at an all-time high breakout. V and KTOS had some nice breakouts in the last 2 days. I am in this ONDS, which had this kind of cup and handle pattern that broke the 10 area last week, that made a new high this week. Also today, I saw that the XLV sector had a bit of a breakout. A lot of healthcare stocks. This ISRG, which is kind of a robotics surgery stock, broke out. The daily range for this is a bit too low for me to trade, so I'm not trading this particular stock. But I saw something like Guardian Health, G8, also had a big move. CRISPR Therapeutics moved off the lows. Don't see set up there yet though. Another one I saw that was up a lot today was TXG, and also a popular stock, Tempus, but none of these have kind of setups yet for me. Also noticed some a big sell-off in SoFi. I think this action just means it's kind of in a stage 3 sideways base, and either just needs more time to resolve the selling before breaking out, or we may get a deeper pullback into a kind of stage 4 decline. But for now, it's above the 200 moving average, so we're just a nothing to do chart. Obviously, memory stocks were really strong today. SNDK was a standout mover, kind of broke out from this all-time high and had put in a huge bar today. MU also made a continuation move, but for MU, the breakout would have been back mid-December from this high. So this is more of a kind of continuation spot, or just day trades for momentum, similar to WDC. I think WDC was actually kind of just broke this pivot here around 189 in the last 2 days. Also, there was a couple of news items from NVIDIA's CES conference. There was a partnership with AEVA, which traded actually the highest volume in the stock's history, I believe. Yep. So this one I would watch for a break of this high volume day, break of the highs to see if it can start to trend. This one actually made a pretty good trend last year from March to June. So it's shown in the past that it can have some nice trends. So I would have this on watch. There was also a partnership with OpenAI from Zeta, which had a breakout from this day range 22 area. This stock doesn't look like it trends too well. I would say it has poor trendiness just by the way it's been acting over the last couple of months, but it's still good for the market tone that positive news is being rewarded. Positive closing at highs, closing strong on the day. Similar with microchip technology, which raised guidance, broke out, which is good to see as a reaction for news. In the data center group, I was also watching MBIS today, as they announced that they would have their Rubin chips, have the NVIDIA Rubin chips be available, or some sort of news there. This one, the daily chart, we can see it's made a higher low into the end of the year. And today closed above the 50 moving average. And there's a bit of a level at this 104 area, which was a recent high throughout November and December. Watching this one for a breakout over 104. We also closed right around $100 today, which is kind of reclaiming the key century mark. Another data center stock I'm watching is Iron. Iron had a huge rally last year. I think it has pretty good momentum given the way it can just trend on the daily chart. Since November, stock topped out and has been in a downtrend for basically the last 2 months below the moving averages. And in the last 3 sessions, we've kind of rallied above the averages. We kind of broke this downtrend line. We made a higher low and we're potentially making a higher high over this 49 area. It would also have a potential 50 moving average breakout. So that's going to be on watch. I also like this PATH path, UI path chart. It had some decent earnings back in December, made a kind of a 3-day move and then pulled back right into the earnings gap, which has actually been holding that level. You see there's been buyers every time we kind of go into the gap. And we kind of just held the 50 moving average, even though it's kind of flat. And it's also in the robotics sector, which is kind of a hot theme right now. So I think over the 1750, we'll be taking out this range over here for a potential move back into that prior high of 1950. I also have this recent IPO Voyager Technologies on watch. This one's a space stock. It had an IPO last summer and seems to be trying to get into an uptrend. With how strong the space sector has been, I think this could also have a potential run. Bitcoin kind of had a pullback today. Thought this range was a decent buy last week and kind of rallied into the prior high around 90, mid-94s. But it had a nice bounce after that sell-off today. So looks like it's still in trend. The metals were also pretty strong today. Silver has actually managed to make its way almost back to the blow-off highs. The futures, that is. The ETF actually made a new high, but that's because most of the selling started in the overnight session that day on the Monday. Gold is also coming back. Same with platinum. These kind of all move together, the precious metals group. One thing I'm going to watch for silver is if we have some sort of failure around the prior high, which is 82, mid 82s. I did think that this was kind of the blow off and we kind of backside on the daily, but it's been making higher lows since we kind of broke that inside day. So currently there hasn't really been a reason to get short yet, but we'll see how it acts tomorrow when it tries to break this high. Another space stock I'm watching is this Saidu, running since mid-December when the whole space theme kind of ignited. And despite having a big sell-off day yesterday, it's come back. So the daily remains in trend. And if you look at the intraday charts, it's just really been making higher lows. You could even draw like some sort of trend line. It's just been in an uptrend. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow. If it starts to extend maybe 2 days straight up past 6, mid 6, some sort of big blow off move, I'll be interested to trade a short on that one. And another micro cap space stock I'm watching is MNTS. This one had a big volume day on Monday. Then it did a private placement offering in the afternoon, which was this drop. And today we've kind of, so a bit of a positive reaction. I think over this high of 1060s, we could potentially see a bit of a squeeze move inside day today on lower volume. So I'll be watching that. I also saw that in after hours, there was some news on MicroStrategy that would no longer be removed from the MSCI World Index. So this one's gapping up. The daily chart has been in a pretty huge downtrend. I can see the 20 moving average has been rejected every single time. Now, if we can hold above this kind of area, it could have a potential bounce to the upside. So I will have that watch tomorrow. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.